there is change, you know. You couldn't stay on your family's farm like I couldn't, because there wasn't enough to keep so many of us on the family to work on the farm. So you have to be a bit more creative, from milking 1 minute to doing 3 lots of milking instead of doing, and like get that music off, even though we'd get a high yield of milk. It's just about how you are, and just, but again, it's this not elite thing or select whoever is.
But I mean, to an extent,
protective, I think.
Because maybe you don't want to, you know, if you have too many people coming and getting involved.
Yeah, historically, there's something gone on with something going radio, because someone will say the name, he's like, so I don't know what's happened there, because they ran to interview me, this American lady lives in Ibrox, about COP26. And I said, do you know what? I said, we're not involved. I just want to talk about my garden. She goes, oh, you do right, you know. Because I'd already been and interviewed people in Govan what they thought of COP26. So you've got all these like hard-faced women of Govan, like, I was like, shit, we've not heard anything. On the Daily Record, they rang me and I'm like, oh, tra-la-la-la, the garden's amazing. And there's nothing about anything about COP26, just about how great this project is. Because I thought, I'm not going to go down that route.
Yeah, I mean...
But, yes, I don't know what's going on with something on radio. Dynamics, isn't it? All life's journey of how people function and work, but, yeah.
I mean, having such a tight and good community as you seem to be having, like, it is interesting that if there is a change within these things, do you get a bit worried about that? Like, because you've already got something.
No, I think as long as Jane is at the helm, then great, as many people as possible, as many new ideas or developments. But my fear is if Jane didn't get funding anymore.
Oh, that's my fear. I don't care, Tom, Dick or Harry in here, but it's just my, because I've seen myself and I've worked with other award-winning gardens across the city, and money's gone, and you go back and they're just derelict gardens, you know, and I don't want to see that anymore. I don't want to work with people that, and it just, you build everything up and it's just been a core thing and then it just goes. It's horrible. So we're quite lucky.
But is it like, theoretically, is there a way that you guys can think to bypass that or fix it in case Jane does end up going to another garden or getting funding elsewhere, or...
Well, I don't know how they would work it then. Would it be a case of... Because so much of the garden is communal. You might have your own little bed, but there's all the flower garden at the front, and there's all the trees and the bushes, like...
Painting and cut.
So then, are people just going to randomly do what they like? Which wouldn't really bother me.
But it is that sort of, if you didn't cut the shrubs, and it would look a mess, wouldn't it? If you just thought, I'm just going to...
And then I think that's when the tensions come in. You get lots of people in, and they're like, oh, that person's done this, and this person's done that, and they've taken like lettuce, and they shouldn't have cut that so short, or, you know...
Going out with a big bag of vegetables and the valley bean in, and again it's that sort of...
And then people think, oh, it's not worth it, I'm not going to go anymore, you know.
Yeah.
Or would we pay
and that's
them
what, so it does make it a bit easier.
Yeah, I just don't know how it would work. I see myself just continuing, as long as I live in Govan, I'll just always come here. I think, because you've got to have that link with nature. It's so depressing to live here. It's really awful. Like, I live in this tiny flat. All I can see outside my windows is the flats opposite. I can see nothing, no sky, nothing. And it's just really bleak. And you've got to have that, like, it's like nurturing plants is like nurturing yourself.
Yeah.
And it'd be so good for everyone to experience that.
Because I don't know if you've been where Jodie is, it's down by the Fairfax.
The Fairfield. Yeah, it's just covered in rubbish.
So it's just, the area is very...
There's no shared garden or anything like that.
And your tenements are that close, aren't they? And the darkness. Yeah. But they're that, because they're buried the old tenements, and it's just very everybody overlooks, and even when you drive, when I drove down recently, and I'm like, oh my God, it's just very dark all the time.
Yeah, it is.
See, when I was up at the allotment, a lot of the guys I was talking to, they enjoyed up the allotment. The reason they went up there mainly was to keep them out of the pub, you know. You know, because quite a lot of work. It's hard work up having an allotment, you know. Definitely hard work.
And you can see that in
Keep
that.
them out of the pub.
Is it,
I would the same.
yeah.
Get them out of the pub.
Keep you out of trouble.
If you see that in that document, I mean, the Guardian one, what he'd written, and I don't know if you have read it, and it starts off with, because we had Jackie, who was, you know, lost her mum, and she knew she hadn't stepped up, stopped taking drugs, she would lose her kids, and she would tell you that. And this garden made her opened her eyes to different food, how it grew, how it tasted. She didn't realise it was so tasty, and it helped her to where then she went on to get a job. And it just had just growing veg and just being a bit more confident and engaging with the children. She was bringing kids in, things she never did before, because it was all her mum would see to that side, whereas her mum wasn't around. So we've had quite a few gardeners that have been here for all sorts of reasons. You know, underlying stuff that have come in and have used it and gone on, and you know, which is good.
Yeah, that's awesome. I am conscious of time because that is 12 o'clock. We've already stolen an hour and a half of your guys'
Just going
time.
off for a massage. I'm getting my hair coloured.
Lovely.
I'm getting my hair done. And David, I don't know, you off shopping?
We were shopping, so
So yeah, but have a chat with David and should we ask him to come in?
I mean, yeah, if you don't mind. And yeah, like, is there anywhere that you guys would suggest would be a good place to stick this up in the shed so folk can see it easily?
Well, we'll just put it in the wee shed in the garden.
So we met you guys today.
Yeah, like not the blue containers, the shed at the side. Well, I can go and put that in there just now, or Jane can. But yeah, and then we could do that next week.
Yeah, like, any feedback
We
would be
just put
amazing.
that in the shed.
Potting shed and go from
That's the
there.
best
Right,
place
okay.
because we don't always come in the
How you
hall.
doing? Nice to see you again.
So
I'm gonna.
just about the early days of how it evolved.
Happening?
Yeah.
David, before you start, we have been recording stuff. We have a consent form if you want to have
Be
a...
careful what I say.
You do, but it's just so you're comfortable and this one.
Right. Same life for me here.
Please feel free to read it. If you've got any questions, we're happy to answer.
Do you know what? I'll be done my glasses.
So, Jodie, thank you very much. David, that has been amazing. Thank you so much for your collaboration and help on this.
But we do have pens.
You sure? You're more than welcome to it.
I'll go to. I have this up.
Oh, later.